When you hear the word poetry, you probably get an image in your mind of something to do with alliteration, cadence, and rhymes, or a beautiful long-haired dude standing at a mic, or a room full of sexy humans who had nothing better to do on a Monday night but come to a bar, sit in a booth, and listen to some dude spit the truth. There's no booths here. But if it's all the same to you, rows of seats do nothing to alleviate this curse that's been placed on verse and that has only gotten worse over time, and I don't really mind other than the fact this is all anybody sees whenever they consider what even is poetry. And I'd be lying if I said that I didn't once thought poetry as a means to an end for a writer like me to feel some sort of intrinsic relevance, but lately I have been trying to find some objective meaning or answer to the question, what the fuck even is poetry? Literary critic David Orr states that the purpose of poetry is poetry, but spending a year on the stage has only proven to me that poetry allowed me to share the real me with everyone around me while I'm trying to find me without actually losing me, and is that not also the purpose of poetry? When you ask, what is poetry to me, do I try to match a scene from a movie, or do I tell you that it's just a way for writers or artists to make money? Because we don't, so it's not. And is poetry really just a way to process our healing? Because I have been hurting and in spiritual agony for the past couple of months, and honestly, poetry has done jack shit to help me. So maybe I'm just supposed to look deeper within myself to recognize that maybe all poetry is a bunch of tired romantics eating dinner on a quiet evening, trying their best to navigate the storm clouds of their feelings. Maybe poetry is talking about love to someone you love for hours on the phone and letting your body settle into itself because you suddenly feel at home. Maybe poetry is a room full of creatives who don't know what to do with their grief, so they fall into one another and decide to call it a community. Maybe poetry is what allows us to feel depressed, joyful, passionate, and angry because at least we're safe sharing it with an equally broken society. Maybe poetry is a mic drop, a deadlift, or a brutal magic trick. Maybe it's a reminder from a good friend that it's time for us to live. Maybe it's walking on eggshells, or finding God in a homeless man, or a letter that you wrote to your future husband. Maybe it's the jaws of a dog, the feathers of a peacock, the bloom of a barrel cactus, or the closure of a coin toss. Maybe it's a snake dressed as a doctor, or a plastic toy soldier, or a mockingbird who learned the ability to sing. Maybe it's a deep-cut Star Wars metaphor. Maybe it's an angel with wings. Maybe it's a reason to go camping, or a sudden panic attack. Maybe it's the teeth between your legs, or the glitter in your ass crack. Maybe it's the mountain calling your name, or the phoenix's healing flames. Maybe it's a cockroach, or a honey badger, or the debts that we pay for change. Maybe it's blood. Maybe it's bone. Maybe it's every part of our being. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's me. Maybe everybody in this room is poetry. But I guess since you're asking me personally, poetry to me is a group of friends sitting in a circle and writing songs, pulling lyrics from the air while all I could do is stare at the trees, the Komorebi of the evening, allowing me the opportunity to finally feel something. Poetry is tracing the hesitation marks I left on my arms and finding the strength to say, this is what I stuck around longer for.